Hi all, Kyber1 here, and today we're looking at Shatterzone, the rulebook. And this has some of the best black and white art I have ever seen. Look at that. Beautiful. But the actual system is, it's on a bell curve, and there's this bonus chart. And unless you're holding this book, the system seems pretty much impossible to run off the back of your hand, which makes it less likely that people nowadays are going to be willing to give it the time, because so many other game systems give you a kind of dark matter alien vibe. And see, it is gory. It is beautiful. Like, so some of the cool things in this, like, there's no character creation in this variant of the book. There's a player's handbook for that, but it's got this overall vibe to it and excellent shading. And wow, just unfortunately for this book, it utilizes a custom dice system. And that's just sad, right? So you have a bunch of condition modifiers here that honestly makes a lot of sense. You could tell it's more difficult or less difficult, what sort of bonuses you get. And that's effective overall. And you could probably use them as guidelines for any sort of role-playing game you really want to do. But due to the over-reliance on the card system, it's got its own special deck. And the problem with that is it doesn't tell you in the book, like, how many cards you need, if it's just one of each or whatever. And so I haven't been able to play this. I don't have the player's book. I just have the rule book and the universe guide. This is the rule book review. And the art is what sets this game apart. It truly does. So other than the huge negative being the card system and the confusing dice system and the lack of player stuff in the rulebook, this section on designing and running adventures is pretty good. It's pretty good. Like, they go over step by step how to create a 3-act structure with different scenes in it to really cover how to design an adventure. And they really hold your hand in it. So I don't mind it as much as other games, which are just vague and they just tell you, do this, do this, do this. It really breaks it down, and they're like, okay, you want to do this, where do you want to do it, you know? And depending on how vague or generalized or specific you want the location where the action is happening, it's very in-depth as to how to make the game kind of flow smoothly. And it's honestly got some pretty good advice for newer game masters. Okay. So There's an adventure game, there's a campaign game, the scenario game. Like, what sort of game are you running? And it tells you to be consistent and all sorts of other stuff that's absolutely useful. Overall, I paid $3 for this. I would recommend it if you can find it for $5 or less. The black and white art is just phenomenal. It's a very mature themed game. It's brutal. It's dark. I use it for inspiration because Star Wars to me was not brutal enough or dark enough. And with a little help from Weston Games' other lines like Torg and this, you can totally enhance any experience by just reading the How to Create an Adventure, looking at the art, and being inspired. All right, Cover One out.